Today we are in the third session of this chapter, that is standard 7, history, chapter 5, architecture in medieval period. Okay, so in the last two videos we have learned about what are the different architecture which was originated which was established during the reign of medieval period. Yes or no? So in the if you talk about the before the arrival of invaders, or we can say before the arrival of Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal, there were different architecture in the North India and the South India. In the North India, you were having the design which was called as the Nagara style, and in the southern you have learned about the Dravidian style. And after the arrival of the Delhi Sultanate, you have learned some of the important architecture that was called the Indo-Islamic architecture. In that, one of the two important things you have learned about, that is the true arc and the dome. So these were the two important things which was being built, or we can say which was being used during the construction of any monuments or any forts or any palaces. Okay, so if you talk about what is the true arc, okay, pointed arc which is not supported by a beam, that means beam what is called, this is the horizontal elements. Okay, so this was not here in your house you can see there are beams, yes or no, in the doors or in the windows you use it, yes or no, it is a horizontal element, that means this type of element, and it is being attached with the pillar. It is attached with the pillar, or we can say it is attached with the walls. Okay, so this true arc was not supported with the beam. It was not supported with the beam, and this was one of the most important design which was used for the building of mosques, palaces, or you can see even now in the mosque, in the that kind of in our area if you talk about, you can see in the mosque mainly this type of design you can see. Another was that dome. Okay, this is a large area enclosed by a hollow semicircular roof. Okay, so you can see above the pillar, that is above this, or we can say in the top of the building, you can see this type of semicircular hollow semicircular roof. You can see this was called as the dome. Okay, so this we talked in after this was the design, or this was the culture of making after the arrival of the Delhi Sultanate. Now today we are going to talk about the architecture in Mughal period. Okay, architecture in Mughal period. That means the Mughal Empire or Mughal king or the Mughal emperor. What are the things they brought with them during the reign of that time? Okay, so first of all, the arrival of was the Babur. Yes or no? So he came to India in after the when he defeated the Ibrahim Lodi in 1526. Yes or no? AD. Okay, so when he came, he brought his own culture, tradition, languages, and we can say his own way of architecture from the foreign countries from where he had come. Okay, so if you talk about now, he brought that all things, but from this, as we know, the design which was being made during the reign of the Delhi Sultanate were like we can say they used the true arc and the dome. Okay, but in the Mughal Empire what happened? Mughal Empire what happened? Or during the reign of Mughal period what happened? This were used, true arc and dome were used, this design were used, but little more ahead, or we can say little more civilized, or we can say more developed they were. Okay, so you can see in that what are the development they did during the reign of Mughal Empire. You can see the uses of red stone and white marble. Okay, in this, that means in the true arc and the dome, or in the structure of building, they started to use the red stone and the white marble. Okay, so red stone and the white marble. Okay, this red stone was one type of a stone which was red in color, and the white marble. Okay, you have always seen what is the marble. Yes or no? You use now in every house you can see you use the floor. We can say you can see the white marble. Okay, so they started to use the white marble and the red stone with this design, this structure, that is through arc and the dome. Next, domes were built on stone platform enclosed in geometrical gardens with running water. Okay, so this was the second what we call, this was the another design which was being brought by the Mughal emperors, or we can say Babur. Okay, so that means like we can say here, if you talk about this is four quarter of the area, and in this it was being joined by this kind of canals, and in the middle of that here it will be a fountain. Okay, and these all things were being joined by a running running water. Okay, so this was, and here you can see these are the gardens. These are the gardens they used to make. Okay, so these kind of geometrical gardens they used to make. This was the design brought by the Mughal emperor, or we can say Babur. Okay, so best example if we talk about the Char Bagh built by a Babur and the Shalimar Bagh in Kashmir by Jahangir. Okay, so this is the best example of the what we call of the geometrical gardens. Okay, so this is how this was the development happened during the reign of the Mughal period. Okay, next is that if you talk about the Humayun, if you talk about the Humayun was very much busy in battle. Due to that, he did not build any fort or any palaces or any tombs. But if you talk about the Sher Shah, when Sher Shah defeated the Humayun, he built one of the most important fort that was called the Purana Kila in Delhi. It is being present in the Delhi, and it was being designed. Those was being designed this way, that means in the form of a true R, and there was a dome in the side of the pillars. Okay, so this was, you can see in your book some pictures of the Purana Kila. Okay, now if we talk about the Akbar built so much forts and so much palaces, even the tombs. For example, if you talk about the Humayun tomb, that means tomb means where the dead body of the Humayun was being being buried. Okay, so this tomb is actually for they used to make for the respect of them. Okay, to show the respect towards the dead person. Okay, so this, if you talk about the Humayun tomb, it was being inlaid by, or we can say red stone and the white marble. Okay, so you can see the picture of Humayun tomb, how it is being built, and it was, we can say, it is also called the eighth paradise. It is also called the eighth paradise. That means it was having what we call 8 rooms. It was having 8 rooms, and in middle of that, its tomb was being present. Okay, so like I said, he built like I say Buland Darwaza. Akbar built Buland Darwaza. Then you have the Panch Mahal in Fatehpur Sikri. Then you have Jama Masjids. These are the forts which was being built by the Akbar. Okay, now if we talk about one of the most important king who was very much developed and very advanced in the architecture, he was called the Shah Jahan. And Shah Jahan, in the chapter 4 you have learned who he was known as the engineer king. He was known as the engineer king. Why he was called the engineer king? Because with his accession in throne, golden age of Mughal architecture began. That means what we call, when he sat on the throne, there were various development in different way in the architecture. For example, one of the most important skill which was being developed by the craftsperson, that was called the Pitra Dura. That was called the Pitra Dura. Actually, this Pitra Dura is the inlaying of precious stone or semi-precious stone on the marble. Best example if you talk about, that is the Taj Mahal, in which the precious stone was being inlaid on the marble. In that means it is mixed with the marble, and you can see how beautiful it looks, the Taj Mahal. Yes or no? So you can see the best example is the Taj Mahal of that. Again, there were so much development. We can say even the peacock throne, or we can say design of the Kohinoor, or we can say there was so much development in the reign of the or we can say during the ruling period of the Shah Jahan. There were various forts. Then you have Red Fort, you have Taj Mahal, there are various examples of the design which was being made by the Shah Jahan. Okay, so that is why this Shah Jahan was so much famous. Okay, now we are going to talk about the another architecture which is also called the Theravedic structure, or we can say Theravedic Indo-Islamic architecture. It comes under the Indo-Islamic architecture. It is also called the Theravedic style of architecture. Theravedic style of architecture. In this, main important was that, okay, in this style, main important was the two things. One was called the accurate. This is a curve which we call the arcuate. horizontal beam which was called as the pyramid. This is the beam is called the pyramid. Okay, and it was being joined by a pillars. It is joined by the pillars. This is called the post. Okay, this is called the post. This is called the post. Okay, so this horizontal beam. This is horizontal element which is called the trapeze, and this the curve is called the elevator. Okay, so it is same like the true arc in the dome, but this was being used in the windows or the doors. It was this design or this arc was being used in the windows or the corridors. Okay, then you have the doors. These are the where this style or the style was being used in the architecture. Okay, and the main reason of this was that when they use this, they use inlay they use the redstone for making this arc or the pyramid. Okay, so this beam is called the pyramid, and this is called the these are the main important thing of the pyramid style of architecture. That means using the beam. But if you talk about the Indo-Islamic, or we can say if you talk about the Delhi Sultanate, or we can say Mughal Empire, they did not use this beam. This horizontal beam was not used by making this true arc. But after that, what happened is when they started to put the beam over there, that means in the corridor or on the windows, this style change, and that was called as the pyramidal style of architecture. Okay, so mainly why these people build more kings and the emperors. Why they build mainly the temples and the mosques? Because mainly if you talk about the Hindu religion, or we can say Hindu king, or we can say there are various Rajput king. Why they used to make the temples? Why they used to main focus was there on temples or the mosques? Because the king used to think, or we can say king used to think that they wanted to appear like a god. They want to appear like a god, and they wanted to show that we can say they are the representatives of the god on earth. Okay, they used to think. Due to that, whichever rituals or whichever prayers they used to perform, they used to perform with the hands of the king. Okay, with the hands of the king, and they think, sometimes they think they were we can say a real god on the earth surface, and they are the messenger of God. That means in the place of God, they are the god on the earth surface. But if you talk about the religion of another religion, like it's a Muslim, if you talk about main thing was that they used to build the mosque, because they believe all the kings, whichever, whether it is a Muslim ruler or whether we say a Hindu ruler or we can say Rajput ruler, all the thing main reason, or we can say main important part of building is the temples and the mosques. Okay, they believe that God is the supreme power, and what they used to do mainly. This Muslim sultans used to believe that they are the shadow of God. They are the shadow of God, and due to that they built so many mosques and even the forts and the palaces. Okay, so main design of this pyramidal style was the tomb of Samshuddin Iltutmish. Okay, this was the best example of Samshuddin Iltutmish of pyramidal style. Okay, now another point that we are going to learn, that is the destruction of temples. So in this destruction of temples, if we talk about, there were various ways how they used to destroy the different temples. One was the most important was that enemy king, or we can say there are so much barrier between two kingdoms. Okay, so they believe that temple was the supreme power of God and a devotion to God. Due to that, what happened to avenge this? They used to destroy, or we can say they used to destroy the temples of other kingdoms. Okay, another reason was that why they used to destroy these temples was that you can say main important thing, whether we say Rajput king or different Hindu kings or the Muslim king, they mainly use so much wealth for building a temples. They used to what we call temples. For best example, if you talk about Muhammad of Ghazni, he was known as the idol breaker. Why? Because whenever he invaded India, he always destroyed the temples of North India. Okay, so why he destroyed the temples of North India? Because he used to plunder, or he used to loot the wealth which was being used on the temples. Okay, so another is that we can say to avenge, or we can say to take the revenge. That is the another reason for destruction of the temples. Then you have the what we call to establish the new what we call new or we can say to establish the power, or we can say pride of the kingdom. They used to destroy the this is another reason for the destruction of the temples. Okay, so this chapter is already completed. I hope you will go through this chapter and